Unfortunately, especially in Western Europe, religious studies have been blamed as non-scientific, as not worthy. Paradoxally, it happened in Western Europe the same which happened in Eastern Europe when it was the time of the Bolshevik and of the communist regime. The different backgrounds led to almost the same ban for religious studies from the academic environment. Today, just what we are facing, just the misleading religious interpretation of conflicts and wars in Europe leads us to say loud that we do need to deepen religious studies in order to acknowledge which is the reality about Christianism, about Christian religions, about the relationship between Christianism and other churches and other religions. And this is more and more necessary today to avoid misleading, false interpretation of religion.
Religious studies, it has a past, it has a present, it has a future. There's no question. All of these studies are related to religious studies. All of the studies of the past always have a main component of what was the religion in antiquity, how does it influence us now, and how will religion carry on into the future. So I'm very optimistic that religion is now going to carry on of interest in academic terms and in people's personal lives, particularly now since the end of communism. Religion has become very vital and very active all over the world where it used to be that it was not allowed. You weren't allowed to have religion. It was not legal to have religion. And now we can see that it's flourishing and people need religion. So religious studies, it's not just essential for people's personal lives, it's an essential component of academic life because it's one of the main, it has always been a main interest in studying human society. Is what do people believe? And it will continue in future like this.
Slavonic literature and culture, they were developed in a context of confessional society. This confessional society had developed in a perspective where naturally were different religion in Mediterranean area and where also Christianity was Western and East Christianity. And this is very important today to understand this heritage, to understand each other. Maybe that in the present religion don't play so important role as in the Middle Age, but the heritage of this religion. This is important for all people, and I think that really our nation, our people cannot understand the past without the knowledge of this religious heritage, and especially in the Balkan area of this East Christian tradition.
Well, the important thing is that we're missing. The thing that we're lacking is we need much more cooperation between Western Europe and Eastern Europe. The resources are not evenly distributed, the opportunities are not evenly distributed, the funding for research is not evenly distributed. Eastern Europe is way behind Western Europe, and it has very important consequences. And that means that the conversations and the discourse and the dialogue between scholars in Western Europe and scholars in Eastern Europe can only take place with a lot of effort and difficulty, and what has to be there has to be more of a balance so that the resources are more equal between the rich countries of Western Europe and the poorer countries of Eastern Europe. And it's happening, but it's a very slow process, and it needs to happen more rapidly. And of course, one of the problems is language, that more and more effort has to be made to have a common academic language so that everybody can converse with each other on an equal basis. And it's difficult to do this. This is a difficult problem, but it's essential that it's a challenge, and it's essential that we deal with this challenge, because Western European scholarship and research is less rich because it cannot appreciate all of the important work being done in Eastern Europe, and at the same time the Eastern European scholars need to have more advantages and resources so that they can come together with their Western European colleagues and counterparts, so that there's simply more conversation and dialogue. It needs to be more, Europe needs to be more unified academically, and these structures are very important, so that more Bulgarians have to apply to the Alexander von Humboldt Stiftung and European Research Council grants, and so that more and more has to be done to have these, to make it a more even field. It's very important.
I think that we have in Europe a lot of religious center for religious studies, but the very important problem that today is to create a link between these different centers. Without this, I think that this center, they remain something maybe links only to national culture or local culture. We need to find a European and international link to understand better the development of religion and a different church tradition in a more wide dimension, to bring all this in our global culture.
I do expect that Europe remembers what I told before about the importance of religious studies, and so not only doesn't stop funding them, but also promotes them, because we need to rediscover an identity of Europe which cannot be aware of itself without rooting itself in Judaism, in Christianity, even in Islam as it was developed in many parts of Europe. A Europe which doesn't remember his roots will be a Europe without a future.